It's Friday night and I fancy a Chinese.
I like Chinese. I like Chinese. They come from a long way overseas, but they're cute and they're cuddly and they're ready to please.
So I'm going to entertain some Chinese space propaganda.
Hi, today we're listening to Leo, Level Earth Observer, Adam, Crane Boy, who seems to have something against the Chinese.
Let's see what flavours the Chinese serve up for us.
Their food is guaranteed to please. A 14, a 7, a 9 and light cheese.
First up, a recent spacewalk.
Spacewalk. So you're going to talk about the ISS? Not cranes then? Oh, not the ISS then. What devastating evidence have you got against the globe, Earth, gravity and space are you going to present to us today, Adam?
Oh, now this is great. We're only seconds in and we got the Chinese exposing NASA.
Think of the many things they've done to impress. There's Maoism, Taoism, I Ching and chess.
Please note the solid hatch here the Chinese are using.
Eggs, butter, milk. Solid hatch on the Chinese space station.
To exit their space station and supposedly enter the vacuum of space. I'll put it back a bit. I say, just note the solid hatch.
2 solid hatches on Chinese space station.
That solid hatch exposes one of the techniques these people use. And I'm going to use NASA's floppy pantomime as an example.
Ha! You said pantomime. All you got to do is say sticky back plastic, crane and toilet rolls and I've won Adam Bingo.
As most will know who visit this channel,
when their carers give them internet access,
pretty much most of the spacewalks are filmed underwater.
Which is really tough as their scripts get soggy.
And when you have scenes of astronauts finishing their spacewalks and going back to the space station after a long so-called EVA, they have to shut the hatch. The hatch essentially has to be floppy. Floppy, because they're underwater. If it was solid, like we saw the Chinese just now, a different scene, a different technique, but if it was solid, then it would have too much resistance against the water.
So you're saying that the Chinese are firm, hard, solid, rigid, and the Americans are a bit limp.
And the astronaut would struggle to shut the door, the hatch, because of the resistance of the water, and of course give the game away, which is why they use floppy.
Oh, stop thinking about sex! I wasn't! You're always on about it! Morning, noon and night! Will the girls like this? Will the girls like that? Is it too big? Is it too small?
Is it too hard? Is it too floppy?
Which is why they use floppy hatches for scenes where they enter and exit space stations during so-called spacewalks. But of course, when we look at clips like this, it makes it rather obvious anyway. We don't even need to entertain the Chinese technique, but the Chinese technique just exposes this even more. Look. I mean, it looks like there's rust on the outside of this floppy thing.
Adam, that's not the hatch.
Now, if our mate was in the vacuum of space, there would be no resistance here. He'd just pull it down and it'd be done and dusted. Because he's in water, even his soft hatch is meeting resistance against the water, naturally.
Adam, when you did your IQ test, did it come back negative?
And that's why we got that silly pantomime.
Okay, Adam, so I am NASA and I want to lie to everybody and fool them into thinking there's a thing such as the International Space Station. I spend millions of dollars making full-size replicas and for some reason putting them in swimming pools. I spend an absolute fortune on all this CGI just to keep flat earthers happy. Somehow I also put an object up in the sky that's always at the exact location predicted for the ISS, but let's leave that to one side. So having gone to all this time, money and effort, I use a cloth cover as a hatch. I allow it to flop around, I film it and show the public. Where's the sense in that? If the Chinese could use a solid hatch, why don't NASA use the same technique? There's a simple answer to that, Adam. That's not the hatch. It's a thermal cover. Let's have a close look at it. As you can see, it quite obviously is not metal. Hell, it's not even wood. That is going to fool nobody. Nobody is going to accept that that is going to give you an airtight seal. No, it's just a thermal cover. Here is one of the hatches within the ISS manufactured by Boeing. The hatch withstands a pressure of around 20 tons. It opens inwards so that the pressure pushes the hatch tight against the seals. There's a window so that the astronaut can see what's happening on the other side. There's a method of sampling the atmosphere on the other side, and there's a bleed valve to make sure the pressure's the same on each side. There's also a crank handle to undog it, and then once everything's ready, it's pulled inwards and upwards and out the way. You can see the hatch stowed above, and the actual aperture is a square with rounded corners. Remember this shape, we'll see it in a while. But this is not the hatch to actually exit the station. For that, they used what was originally called the Joint Airlock Module and is now called the Quest Airlock. It consists of two cylinders. The larger diameter equipment lock, which is where suits and equipment are stored and where the astronauts suit up, and the narrower crew lock. This is the one that the astronauts actually exit from, that has an apparent floppy hatch. Here is Quest in July 2001 being installed by the Canadarm. The larger diameter equipment lock is the portion that connects to the ISS, and here it is being installed. One of the Boeing pressure doors separates the ISS from the Quest airlock module. Here is an astronaut in the equipment locker. Yes, flat earthers, it's filmed with a fisheye lens. Behind the astronaut you can see a second Boeing pressure door, again a square with rounded corners, and this one separates the equipment lock from the crew lock that the astronauts actually use to do an EVA. The general principle is easy to understand. The crew suit up with the help of other crew members in the equipment lock. They pass through to the crew lock and the Boeing pressure door is closed. The atmosphere is removed from the crew lock and they can exit the ISS. When they come back in, the crew lock is repressurized, the Boeing lock is opened and the astronauts return to the equipment lock to be unsuited. But Adam, our friendless flat earth fanatic, is sat at home grinding his teeth, saying, "Yeah, but this hatch is round. Where is this floppy cover?" Well, Adam, look right behind that astronaut. You can see two hinges. Let's have a look at the crew lock from inside again. Back in the equipment lock and looking through the open Boeing pressure door, we can see into the crew lock. Over that crew member's shoulder, you can see a grey disc. That is the lock. I can hear you seething and dribbling in anger, Adam. Well, here is an image of an astronaut entering the crew lock while it's unpressurized, with the Boeing pressure door shut. The actual lock door is open, pushed back against the wall behind the astronaut. Still not sure, Adam? Well, here's a view while the astronauts are out doing their EVA, looking into that crew lock. You can see the hatch door open, you can see the hinges, and looking out, you can see your floppy, rust-stained hatch cover. Look at that lock, strong, ribbed, on hinges. Adam, your floppy hatch is just a thermal cover. The astronauts need to pull it in place prior to closing the lock. Yes, it flaps about because it's bendy, not because there's any atmosphere there, not because there's any water there. When they're going to exit, as they open the lock, the thermal cover gets blown wide open because it's only velcroed on. Here is a very rare clip. It's a different angle. You can see that the thermal cover has already been blown back. The lock is in place and literally just about to be opened. Boom. You are busted. Adam, how does it feel to be wrong each and every single time? How does it feel to get totally reamed in public? Take down your video before you look stupid. Oops, too late. So there we are, Adam. I took your floppy space station hatch theory, considered your evidence, and then countered it very carefully. How do you feel about it?
You have made a mockery of me.
Yes, I did rather.
I busted him up.
Yeah.